Chris here with another e-bike that is more motorcycle really than it is e-bike. This is from Lankeleisi. I've reviewed plenty of their bikes now, and they tend to be more higher quality than a lot of the other brands I do cover. So this bike's a little bit special here because it's got dual motors. It's another one of those ones that just accelerates like crazy, as you can imagine. So up the front, we have a 1,000-watt motor, and then at the back, a 1,000-watt motor at the rear. You can either run just the front motor or just the rear motor, or both at the same time for that crazy quick acceleration. Now it can go over 50 kilometers per hour top speed. I don't have it unlocked at the moment. It's at 25 kilometers per hour. I haven't been able to unlock it, but it's a very quick bike. Front suspension, rear suspension, 180 millimeter Diesel hydraulic disc brakes. And we've got a battery that's located right here that is 20 amp hours, 48 volt system, has Samsung cells. So good to see that they're using brand cells in this battery. And the wheels, the tires here, 20 inches and 4-inch fat wheels, fat tires with the knobbly tread pattern. So really great for traction for a motorcycle e-bike style like this bike here, the X3000 Max. So there are a few things more that I want to point out. The kickstand holds that 37 kilo weight of the bike really well. Plastic mudguard, so no rust, corrosion, or vibration or rattling noises coming from them. Better than metal, I think. Rear tail light, that is included with the bike, hardwired. We get the bike rack too as well, so great to turn this into a cargo bike. Seat has plenty of padding. It's reasonably soft, but I have felt softer ones. I mean, there's a bit here, but it's quite firm. But I like how wide it is. It is really comfortable. The X3000 Max does use a speed sensor, so not a torque sensor here. These pedals, they are alloy. They're okay, non-branded pedals there. So the shock here that we get on the rear, this has 20 millimeters of travel. It's okay, but the brand, of course, we're not getting Fox shocks, Rock shocks, anything like that. Otherwise, that would really push the price of this bike up a lot. Now the welds, the frame, paint job, finish is excellent. We've got those Diesel brakes, 180 millimeter hydraulic, really good braking performance. Quick release on our seat post. You can also put a bottle holder right here too as well. And look at the welds where the frame does part. So this is where you can fold it in half, and you can see now this is the bike in its folded state. So this is great for getting it under a steer wheel, just to make it a bit smaller, which you can't do with other bikes that aren't foldable. Handlebar does not fold down, however. That's the downside to it. So the battery inside is using Samsung cells. This is what it looks like. You get the 2 keys with it, so it is locked into place. And it takes around 7 hours to charge. 20 amp hours, 48 volts. This front shock I've been really happy with. It is a very robust, rigid front shock. Looks good, non-branded. Well, it's got their own stickers on it. And travel, as you can see from the grease marks right here, very, very good. I've measured this and it's 110 millimeters. So the best travel I've seen out of this style, what looks almost like a downhill style shock. Plastic mudguard there on the front. Again, the 180 millimeter disc brakes. And of course, the tires, fat wheels. These are Chow Yang, see a lot of them. Very poor rolling resistance. They are noisy, but they give a lot of traction, especially on the rocky stuff, and they do aid the braking performance, just like this front suspension does too. Works well when you are braking. Now the front headlight, I like it. The style of it is a little bit more aggressive, and again, giving it more of a motorcycle look to it. This is what it looks like at nighttime. It is really nice and bright, lights up the path ahead of you. No complaints from me with this front headlight. I like it. It doesn't rattle. It's fixed in position, really firm too. That front shock can be locked out completely. We've got adjustable compression on the right side, adjustable preload on the left. The cabling, most of it is internal. Some of it you can see just below here, and the routing of that cable that goes to the front motor that I talked about in the intro. So good to have this. But the downside is that it adds a bit of weight, of course, quite a bit of weight to the front of the bike. So it's not so playful on the front. It's really more like a moped motorcycle. So the chain ring here at the front, this has 52 teeth with a protector around it. Well, it's more on there to stop that chain from coming off. KMC branded chain. This is painted silver, so it should be rust proof. And then Altus for our gears here from Shimano. So very, very common and quite low end there. We've got 7-speed cassette and no problems with the gears. The alignment out of the box is excellent with the X3000 Max. Brake levers, these are hydraulic. Dyson again, adjustable. Really good to see this. They're using lock grips. Now they're relatively cheap ones with this synthetic style fake leather, but they've got a bit of support there for your palms and they don't move about. They are locked into place. So this is power on, pedal assist levels up and down. Press and hold this. It's the walk mode. Very handy to have for such a heavy bike. It's just to go through the information of the screen, turn the front and rear lights on. And if you press and hold the pedal assist level up button, this goes through the motor mode. So first off, it's always by default the rear hub motor, and then it goes into the dual hub motor mode, and you can have just the front hub if you wanted to, but I find that a little dangerous. Do not recommend that, especially in the wet. You don't really want to use the dual motors. It's better to just use the rear wheel for obvious reasons, because the front wheel can easily slip. It's that powerful. On the right, twist style throttle, so if you're in a pedal assist level, if you just twist this now, it'll go. So be very careful with that, it can be slightly dangerous. And then that really cheap, just entry level shifter here from Shimano. So 7 speeds, up the gears, down the gears, pulling on that. Color screen, very bright and clear. A little hard to see in direct sunlight right now. I can see more of myself there talking, but you've got your information here, your trip, pedal assist level, your speed, battery gauge at the top, and you can see the motor modes there. Now it is backlit, so you can see this at nighttime too while you are riding, so great. Very nice, large, clear screen. The latch mechanism does work really well, and you notice I've got a key dangling there. While you do have to have a key in it to turn it on, like an ignition, the battery is locked into place. There is this little security here on the top, so you need to push that forward before you can pull the lever out. That locks it into place to make sure it's just not going to pop open while you're riding. Not that that would ever happen. It's never happened to me either after all of the like 20 or so foldable e-bikes that I've ridden now. Riding position is not super upright like sweatback handlebars, but it's not bad. It really does feel like you're riding a motorcycle. So as I pointed out before, to put it into the dual motor mode, you press and hold the up pedal assist level. It goes into then dual. You can have the front motor, not that I really would ever use just the front motor, and then the rear. Most people use the rear for the battery saving, but the front if you want that extra bit of fun. And you see that when you go to accelerate, twist that throttle, that even with a loose dirt here especially, you're going to hear it now, that front wheel is just going to skid and slip. So you've got so much power to take off and launch. Acceleration is really good. So me dropping down this curb, quite good. The front, really good at soaking that up, and the fat wheels, they also really do help soak up a lot of the bumps and whatnot. So I get up to the 25 kilometer per hour limit that I currently have just straight away. The acceleration is so quick, so good. So it's really nice just cruising along here, and I can just use that throttle, not even pedal. Now it does use a speed sensor, and the speed sensor not quite as good as torque, so when I start to pedal it detects that, gives me the power. Can you hear the motors? Well, I know I've got a bit of traffic at the moment about, but you can hear them. They're not too bad, the noise of them, pretty standard, 2 1000 watt motors. What about our top speed if you're not using the throttle? Well, pedaling, slight incline here, that I can get it up to about 32. That's really about the top speed, 32, 33, pedaling as fast as I can with no motor, because I've got this locked down to 25 kilometers per hour. I can't seem to unlock it at the moment. It's about as fast as I can get it. So if you have the unlocked version, you can get over 50 kilometers per hour, which is really quick. And coming into my climb test spot, this is a 20-degree climb, and I'm going to use the throttle here. I am in the pedal assist level 5. And no problems. With the dual motors, this is just, well, it's ridiculous. I've got to put zero effort in here, doing 25 kilometers per hour. It's being limited by the speed limit, and it's just rocketing up this. Now, if I stop using the throttle, pedal, It's, well, about the same really, 22 kilometers, and I'm not really putting in any effort, nothing, really just spinning my feet, that's it. So it's got an amazing amount of power here with the dual 1000 watt motors, climbs with absolute ease. It doesn't get any easier than this. It just keeps on going, pushing me right up this, effortless. Brakes on this particular model, Dyson 180mm hydraulic disc brakes, very good. So where this guy is here in the white post, full on braking. Really good. Before this post, annoying the dogs, so that means the braking performance on this one being well before that post is excellent, well above average. Really strong braking performance. The calipers bite into these discs really well. There was really no bedding in required with these brakes either. They just work so well. And that front suspension really does help out with the braking performance too. Then how does the suspension handle a little bit of rough road here? So the paving is all over, up and down all over the place here. And you can feel, especially that front shock working quite well. I've got it in the softer setting. You can adjust it with that adjustable compression. You can also adjust the preload too, and it's good. The rear is giving a little bit of travel, but it's not much. It's only 20 millimeters, but the front, 110 millimeters of travel. Very good for this style of bike. Range, as you can imagine, is a bit mixed. When you're running the dual motors, it really burns through that battery. And I've got it limited at 25 kilometers per hour, so it won't be as bad as people that are riding this e-bike here completely unlocked. Now I'm looking at only around 28 kilometers just in pure electric mode. That's not even pedaling that I've calculated. That's using the dual motors. If you use just the rear motor or just the front motor, then you'll have a slightly better range there. Now, if you are pedaling, it's about 55 kilometers to 50. It's all I'm looking at to get out of this. And that's with some climbs. So if you're a lighter rider than me, I weigh about 80 kilos. And if you're not climbing so much with the X3000 Max, then your range will be better. But it's not amazing because of the dual motors, because of the weight of this bike. The downside is definitely that weight. So it's about 37 kilos. It's, is it heavy? The front is heavier than most bikes because of not only the front motor there that you don't normally have, but because of the suspension, it's got a bit of weight to that too as well. The fold in it means it's heavy, the design of it, but a really good frame, good welds, finish, excellent paint job to it. Braking performance is fantastic. 180 millimeter, those Dyson hydraulic brakes work really well, and the knobbly tires do add to your traction, your grip when you are braking, which is another great thing there. Rest shock isn't that good. 20 millimeters of travel only, but it's better than nothing. Most of the time, the spongy fat tires will be doing a lot of that work anyway, soaking up like the rocky stuff where I am right now filming. It's going to aid with that. So the gears, it's just that 7-speed set up there with Shimano, nothing special there. The KMC chain, but it works well. I don't have any issues with the alignment of the derailleur. So all up, it's a really fun bike to ride, but it is expensive. This is about 2,200 euros at the time of this video. It's a bit more pricey. So it's really the price and the weight are the downsides here.